Hello and welcome to this conversation with Admirals head coach Karl Taylor. He's inside the bubble in Edmonton as the Nashville Predators get set for the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Karl, it's been interesting. Back in the middle of March, I think we thought maybe it would be a 2-3 week break, and then it got longer, and then the AHL season was canceled. I'm curious if you thought that you would be in Edmonton right now getting ready for the remainder of the 1920 season.
Yeah, I think we all know the answer to that. It's a firm no. It was 29 degrees in Edmonton Celsius yesterday, which is a heat wave in this area. And
That's about 88, 89 Fahrenheit, right?
And we're playing hockey here. So, no, definitely not planned, but trying to help out wherever I can and whatever I can do to assist in the process for Nashville and what we're trying to do here. It's weird with the way the season ended and being in Nashville for training camp and then moving into this phase. It's almost like this is my team now, and you're all in on it just based on how things have occurred. And we watched a game last night, and you're thinking Calgary had a slow start in the game. They ended up playing well in the end, but you're watching the game and you're like, geez, they could be done in 7 to 8 days. There's a lot that has gone into this. And I don't know, it made me feel more invested in the process and understanding, you know what, Nashville is my team right now, and that's the way we're going to approach it from here on in.
So Nashville is your team, and so what are your duties? What have your duties been, I guess? And let's start back a little further. When did you find out that you were going? Because there is the limit of, I think it's 51 people or 52 people in a traveling party. That counts players and equipment managers and doctors and everybody like that. So when did you find out you were going?
Yeah, it was. I knew I was coming to Nashville to help out with training camp, and I thought that was going to be it. It would be a return home to Heartland. But from that process, late in the game, a little bit, the staff decided they would like to have me. They saw some value and thought I could help in some different areas. And from that, they asked, and obviously there was a reflection and some decision making to go through for myself and for my family to try to decide what we should do or not do or what have you. But in the end, we decided to move forward, and now we're here. As far as roles in training camp, I've been on the ice and in all the meetings, just like a normal coach would be with the staff. I've had a focus of helping out with the players that came from Milwaukee and making sure those guys are up to speed and ready to go. So that group has been pared down a little bit, but we still have 6 guys here. So those players are being put through the paces if they're not with the big group with me and also Ben, who as a goalie coach in Milwaukee has a lot of ties as well, and Rob Scuderi's been out there with us as well. So those guys are getting lots of work, but the focus is basically I'm going as an assistant coach, full on, and helping in any way I can, and just trying to assist in the process.
When you are on the ice working out the 6 or 7 guys or 10 guys that may not be playing that night, I'm curious how, if you say, let's say practice starts at 2:00 in the afternoon, is it like a morning skate sort of? Do you have the main guys are done, so to speak, after an hour, and the rest of the guys get an extra half hour? How does that work?
Yeah, it was a little different in Nashville because we would skate before for the most part. We had an hour of ice time and we'd do our thing. And then the other group would come out a couple hours later. So I've been on for all the sessions. There've been some long days because I'm on with both groups, but that's fine. I think it's the best way to do things, and I agree with it. But here we have a 2-hour time slot right now on non-game days. And so on a non-game day, that the main group goes out and they do their thing, and then we'll flood. And the way our slots worked is there's no one on after us. So we have lots of time to do whatever we need to after the fact. And so with the amount of teams going through the practice arena and the ice trying to keep up, we've always put a flood in just to give the guys an opportunity to be able to complete plays. And, if you go out without a flood, the goalies can't even slide. And we have 2 goalies and 4 skaters. So we want to make sure everybody's getting what they need. And we're trying to help and assist them. If they're not part of the main group for the practice, whatever the theme is, we're trying to work it into our session so they understand what's being done. They're in all the meetings. They're a part of the group 100%. We're just trying to do everything we can so that if they do get called on, they're ready to go without a hesitation.
Within the bubble, what is it like? I mean, how tight is it? Are the elevators? Do you have a Nashville elevator? Do you have a Minnesota elevator? Do you have things like that in the hotel? How does it work?
Yeah, there's an outside space in front of the arena, the courtyard, and there's 6 teams in this hotel and 6 teams in another hotel. No, there is no designated elevators, but we have floors. So we have 2 floors designated to Nashville. You do bump into players the first 4 or 5 days. Right now, we are instructed to stay within our group and not to visit and socialize with the other teams. So we are trying to avoid each other initially, and then once we get past that, then I think it opens up a little bit more. The elevators, there's 3 people allowed per elevator. Everything's marked on the floor. Stand here, do this. No talking allowed in the elevator. So there's lots of rules in place. It's been very well organized from my perspective. Under really difficult circumstances, I think the NHL has done a great job with the organization. The buses come inside the gated area, so into the bubble. We load up and then we leave to go to practice. Practice rink is about 20 minutes away, and you drive back into a bubble environment over there into the arena. All the teams have their own weight room area. All the teams have their own locker rooms. They've done a very good job trying to isolate everyone to avoid any chance of spread.
The medical precautions, all of that stuff. But are you tested every day, every other day? How does that work? And then once you're tested, do you get a pass that says you got to wear a badge or something that says I'm good to go?
Yeah, so we've been tested every day here, and they've done a nasal test and also a throat test. We every 12 hours we have an app, a Clear app, kind of like the Clear from the airport that you'll see. And the Clear app is every 12 hours, it's face recognition. And then there's different stands throughout the bubble here and in the location where you have to scan your barcode with your face onto the machine, and it takes your temperature right there. So, and then once you do that, you get a cleared pass, and you can't leave your area unless you have a green pass. I'll just pull it up here and I can show you just quickly how it looks. But so now I got to take a picture of myself just quickly. So I'll do that, be able to do this. So you take a picture, and I've already gone through the hourly checkups at the screen. And so then you get a green with a barcode. So that allows you to get on a bus to go to practice. If you don't have that, you have to go do the scan. It allows you to enter the arena. So there's checks and balances everywhere. I believe there's 100 security guards that are around the area guiding everyone and helping and making sure they secure the area so that there isn't any, the least amount possible of anything occurring. And now if you go scan and you get a red message or what have you, then there's steps in place to handle that, whether it's a temperature, maybe it's just a temperature thing and it's not the virus. So I think they've done a lot to try to secure everyone and make it the best they can to try to make sure that everything moves forward.
I am hopeful. This sounds as good as it can possibly be. It sounds like everybody's doing everything that they can, but I am hopeful that when the AHL and NHL season begins for the 2021 season, that none of this has to be done.
Yeah, it's a lot. You think about just the amount of time and money and the investment into the testing and everything they're trying to do here. Obviously, there's a huge investment on everyone. And in the end, it's like I said yesterday on the other Zoom call I did for the local news station 58. It's all about personal responsibility and trying to do what you can do to make sure because in the end, one person can make different decisions. And we all have masks. Everyone needs to wear them and do everything they can to be a good citizen to help each other out, whether they're in the bubble or just trying to live. So I think it's the responsibility of everyone to do everything they can to slow down this virus. Obviously, it's a very extreme situation in the world, but also in the U.S. right now.
So back to the games and all of that, an exhibition game tomorrow, and then it gets going for real on the weekend. What do you do there, and do you work kind of as a scout during other games? Do you got to watch them on TV? What do you have to do?
So currently, I've been each coach here is going to be given a team to pre-scout for the second round if we're fortunate enough to move on, which obviously we are planning. So I'll have a team that I'm responsible for to prepare for us to play in the first round of the playoffs once the qualifying round is over. During the game, I will be helping out in any way possible. I won't be on the bench. I'll be the eye in the sky, I believe I'll be on a radio communicating with the coaches if I notice something or if there's something I can assist with. And then, obviously game breakdown, all those things. It's everybody's in this together in a room. We're working together. We want everyone's expertise and their experience level to come forth and able to hopefully give our team, the Nashville Predators, a great chance to make a run here. So that's basically what we know for sure. And we'll see. It's going to adjust. We have a game tomorrow. I think everyone's dying for that game. It's been, for me, this is 4 weeks of prep. I can't imagine the coaches having 4 months of prep and the things they've gone through. Everyone needs a hockey game with someone with a different jersey right now. We're too much based on analytics. We need some actual gameplay.
Of the guys in camp in Nashville, I believe 13 played a game in Milwaukee this year as well as in Nashville. That says a lot. That's pretty impressive that there are so many guys in this organization that have been able to do that, and they're going to play major roles in this tournament here.
Yeah, it's a and the road to Nashville goes through Milwaukee. It's been a saying for a few years. The thing I love is you see guys that were on their second turn, their second team, maybe they're a little older, and I can't say enough about the organization as far as being merit-based and allowing some of these players an opportunity. You got a Blackwell, you got a Grimaldi, you got a Tenorti, you got guys that were in the middle part of their careers, been a 5-6 year pro and gotten a second chance and earned it, and they made the most of it. They're full-time players now for Nashville, and outside of the other guys that we've had. So I just love when it's based on merit. It allows us as coaches a lot of latitude, and easier to run our team in Milwaukee and to give people hope and give people an opportunity to still chase their dream, no matter what their age is or what the scenario is. Even if they're not the just drafted high-end prospect, and those guys deserve the same opportunities, but a lot of times those guys get the benefit of the doubt over some of those other situations. So for me, there's great pride in those guys doing well. Obviously, we had a great season. It's been a great 2 seasons, to be honest with you. But last year was very special. And to have the opportunity to see those guys up here and what they're doing and part of the fabric of these teams, it's very exciting for me as a coach to be able to enjoy that.
And real quick, what also is exciting as we close here, what also is exciting is that so many of the same guys from this past season they'll be in the organization, whether they're in Milwaukee or Nashville, but
right.
It says a lot about the way you and Scott Nickel have put this team together.
Yeah, Scott's done a great job, and all the management group in Nashville has. And I know Scott's always battling for us in those meetings and trying to do whatever he can to make our team better. Milwaukee is his team. He's very attached to it. He wants a winning environment, and so do I. So it's a match made in heaven. You never know when you change jobs and come into a new situation, how it's going to go, how you're going to mesh with people, or what the organizational culture is going to be. You do your research, you try to set yourself up for success, but there's only so many jobs out there. So sometimes you got to take a leap of faith, and this has worked out great. Scott believes in how we play, and we talk about absolutely everything, whether it's players or style of play or the culture we want in Milwaukee. It's been a great fit, and I think when you see the situation where Scott has gone out early in some difficult circumstances, and it's not just Scott, it's the whole Nashville organization. Obviously, he's driving it, but to sign players early and for players to commit early. Obviously, they've enjoyed their time in Milwaukee to be able to do that. And we want to have what we've created to continue. There's always turnover, but having some of our veteran core players come back, make our job a little easier. Plus, they know the coaching staff, they know what to expect, and they know the standard we're looking for. So it really allows us to focus on where we're going and what we're trying to achieve.
This will be the last one. I'm curious, you said know what to expect. This tournament could very well be the greatest hockey tournament ever put together because so many people are healthy. They may have been shut down for the season, but lo and behold, here we are, July and August, and they're back from whatever injury they may be, whatever team they were on. One, do you think this could be the best tournament ever? And two, has it been addressed about no, there's no fans, there's no noise. Whatever noise is going to be out there is going to be made from the 45 people on the benches and on the ice.
To your first part about the guys getting healthy, it's incredible to see. Usually you're gone through the grind. Think of our first year in Milwaukee in a different league. Whatever we had to do at the end of the year to get into playoffs, it was nuts, but it was a grind. And so you alleviate that. And sometimes that can accelerate you into the playoffs and give you an opportunity to continue.
Yep.
To me, I think the teams that feel it didn't, like the teams that feel they have a second chance, I think have an advantage here, in my opinion. It's almost like a free look. You know, the season wasn't the way we anticipated, and now we get an opportunity to go, and everyone's got the same equal chance. I think those teams have somewhat of an advantage, same as the players that may have had a disappointing season, or they feel they've had a disappointing season, whether that's in Nashville or on any of the teams. They have a chance to get back at it and erase those thoughts and finish with a great last memory in everyone's mind about how they played and how the team played. So I think this tournament, I said early on, it's going to be people just feeling it out. We went to the game last night, and we heard every conversation on the ice, and we were in the middle of the arena. So we were in a suite, and there was nothing we didn't hear, whether it was the coaches talking or the refs talking or players saying hello to each other. So it was an interesting element. It actually will change how we pre-scout a little bit just based on that, just because you're going to get a better feel for what's occurring on the arena, and the pace and what's occurring will allow you to understand the coach's moves and how he goes about his business. So it's a different environment for sure. I think once teams get into that second round, now you're down to 8 teams. You got opportunity for things to occur that you weren't quite sure were going to be there for yourself. So once you get through and you get a little deeper, then all of a sudden everybody's all in, and that's when you're going to see the element to go right through the roof. And there's no time. You can't ease into this. This is a sprint right from the start, and that's been the focus of every team. If you try to ease into this, you're going to be going home pretty quick.
This will be the last one. I apologize because I wanted to follow up on what you said about hearing everything. Does it turn into a baseball? Will it turn into a baseball situation now where the catcher comes out and he's talking to the pitcher like this, or the manager, or the pitching coach is talking like that? Or are there code words and things like that for certain plays on faceoffs? Does it get that detailed, or is that just too much to worry about that let's just play hockey?
Yeah, I've always been a guy that you worry about your own team more than anything, and I'm never going to change in that focus. You're going to do the prep beforehand, and the amount of prep that's been done by these teams, all the teams that are still playing, is massive. It's just the art of the coaching is making sure you don't give the players too much to freeze them up. You just give them what they need to perform their game at the best level possible without getting them clogged up. As far as what's occurring on the ice, you're not going to hear whispers, but I think coaches traditionally have always covered their mouths. That's something we've always tried to do with game cards or what have you. It's when there's silence and things occur on the bench, or the passion of the game comes in and a coach raises his voice or a player raises his voice. All those different elements are involved in this game now, from a scouting standpoint when you're sitting in the stands. And so it's a different element. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think players, it hasn't been something we've talked about as a strategy for the players, but it's definitely something the coaches have talked about, being aware of how loud you're speaking and what you're saying, because everyone's going to be able to hear you.
Sure. Coach, it's great to see you. Stay well. Enjoy it as much as you can. It's certainly an experience, if nothing else. And we look forward to seeing you when you get back home.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aaron.
All right. Admirals head coach Karl Taylor.